You're listening to REIA Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out REIARadio.com.
Welcome to REIA Radio, episode 229. This is the Real Estate Rundown with Owen Dashner.
Ted, gosh. Well, every time, man, you struggle with this intro.
Well, it's because of the segment name. And
hey, do we need to start just recording it and playing it to make it easy on you, Ted?
No.
Okay, you want to do it live action?
Yes,
every time.
Yes, yeah. I think that's best for us. I mean, remember how many pre-recorded segments we used to have in the first couple years?
Uh-huh.
I do miss a couple of them because I like when I'm listening to some of those old ones back. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of like that little tune. You know?
You like the authenticity, right? So the fresh tones of Kosh Doshner.
I feel like people relate a little bit better. I tell you what, man. Like when we walked in, you seemed stressed, and now you got a little bit of a smile to your face. Some things that must have gotten lined up. Maybe it was the podcast with Jeff.
Here's the deal,
I don't know.
Okay, so when we come to the studio on Friday, generally I like to get here about an hour beforehand. I do some research. I make sure my notes are tight.
Yes,
I know what we're going to talk about. And this morning, so that happens, and then we're pretty much in a void for about 3.5 hours of recording and dicking around and telling stories, and then we have to record 2 segments.
Usually from like 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. we're completely
at best. A lot of times it's 1:30 or 2 by the time we roll out. So pretty much I have a black hole.
It's gotten better since we haven't been drinking.
Well, that's true. It's pretty much a black hole in my day on Fridays, and I have a bunch of crap that's like all competing priorities. You know what I mean? Like I got personal stuff, I got work, I got offers, I got like funding requests. And so I'm feeling a little tense today just because there's a lot of big money decisions that have to be made. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where things are at on a lot of them. So yeah, I'm a little anxious right now.
Time for those partners to step up.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, this morning, man. Okay, so we've been looking for houses, right? I brought this up. There was another one that popped up in a subdivision that we really, really like. Yes. And the agent sent it to me yesterday, and I'm like, okay, so Jen and I are looking, right? And we're looking for, the same house, obviously, to live in, but we have different things that we're interested in as related to a house. Mm-hmm. And so this one pops up, and it's very similar to one we already looked at in that neighborhood. And it's actually right across the street. Like you look at each other's driveways, which is weird. But so Jen's like, I go, hey, should we go see this today? This is yesterday. I'm like, we should probably go see it. It's just hit the market. She couldn't do it. She had to like funeral visitation, run the kids around, and all this stuff. And it wouldn't work. And I go, do you want me to look at it? And then maybe we can come back together tomorrow or something if it looks good. She's like, well, what's the difference? If I have to come back anyway, we might as well just go look at it tomorrow, which is today. And I'm like, you're right, because we're not going to make an offer without her seeing it.
Yeah.
So I get a message later, and it's from the agent. She's like, okay, they already have an offer. And I'm like, shit. And because Jen was like, well, what do you think the odds are that somebody's actually going to offer on the first day? I mean, the other one's still listed. It's been 3 weeks.
It's always, first day or first 30 days.
We want it. So I think there's going to be an offer. And anyway, so the agent goes, can you guys come look at it like right away in the morning? And I'm like, literally the only time I can do this is like 8 a.m. And so she's like, okay, I'll make that work. And so we go over there and look at it, and just agonized over it, and we were like talking ourselves out of it and then into it and then this and that, and we ended up passing on it.
Oh, did you?
But I'm scrambling on the way there. I'm texting back and forth with president of Malvern Bank, and I'm like, hey, am I good? Like, you know what I mean? I haven't gotten the whole. I always forget that people have to get like pre-approval letters and all that stuff, and I'm like, whatever. I have proof of funds. I got liquid lending, yo. Yeah. So I'm just doing all the normal
hard money that out.
Yeah. I'm not used to operating as a person. I'm just usually a company, Anyway, it's weird. So I had to like juggle all these texts and phone calls and make decisions on that stuff.
Why wouldn't you have your company buy it and then rent it back from your company?
What's the difference?
Well, I mean, I had a client, I sold him a house in Linden Estates. He had his company buy it, and he's like, well, then I get to write everything off. I can write off the repairs. And he goes, then my rent is one of my costs. But
it's a cost on one side, but income on the other. Yeah. So I looked at this too. And then actually, this is a good follow up to what we were talking about last week. I think you were at Caffeine and Cap Rates. Mm-hmm. I was like, I've got this property under contract to sell, and I've got a big chunk of equity in it. I wonder if I could just buy my personal house that I'm going to live into with my company and then lease it back, but still use a 1031 exchange and combine it with the purchase of an actual investment, right?
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
Okay.
I researched it, and if you receive any economic benefit out of the 1031 personally, you can't do it. And there's provisions in there or whatever, you can read it. But I was kind of bummed to see that, because I was like, man, maybe I can get like a free house out of this almost, But yeah, that's no longer the case.
Is the sale seem pretty solid of your place?
Yeah, the apartment complex?
Yeah,
as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it could fall apart in the last week.
Are they still doing inspections and everything like that right now?
No, it's as is, but they have due diligence clause because it's it's apartment complex, so they're gonna walk it and do all that. So I got a couple weeks of DD that they're gonna do, and then I think a 2-month close. So we're about 6 weeks away from closing, right as of now. So I'm looking for 1031 properties. Anybody listening out there that's got some multifamily stuff they're sitting on, I would take a look at that.
What's the ideal property?
Well, with this one, what I'm looking for, it would have to be right around kind of like the 3 to 4.5 million is right around where I would like to be. I could probably go to 5 or a little above, depending on what it is. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And it sucks, man, because, you and I were talking about how little properties of that size in Omaha actually change hands each year. And it's like, what, 40 to 50, maybe
50-ish.
Yeah. So that's
that are above 25 units.
Yep. So that's kind of the boat I'm in right now. And, I'm kind of to the point where I'm like, well, maybe I look at self-storage and rope in Mr. Angelucci somehow, or, look for a different asset class. I don't know. But that's the boat I'm in with this 1031 right now, is now I got to be on the hunt and try to figure out. But I also did this. So this is interesting. So I have a couple of projects that are bigger, like construction lifts. Like a lot of money is going into construction this year, right? So 2025 tax year, guess what just happened?
Full depreciation.
100% bonus depreciation is back in the house, gang.
Big deal.
Yeah, big deal. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this because I'm not a CPA, of course, but bonus depreciation will allow you to take some, like, you're basically ramming forward depreciation on stuff that would normally be spread out over 27 and a half years. And you could bring that forward to like 5 years, 7 years, 3 years, depending on what the stuff is, like flooring and, fixtures and stuff like that. They shorten the lifespan of that. So you can take a lot more depreciation up front than you normally would be if you just took regular straight line. So that's pretty cool. So I've got an opportunity here. Where I'm going with this is, with all the construction on a few different projects that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have a hefty, and if we do a cost segregation study, I'm going to have a hefty bonus depreciation / cost seg opportunity there to wipe out a bunch of income gains that I have from selling a property or my regular income from, my businesses. Right.
You can potentially put that back in your pocket.
Exactly. Yeah. So this chunk of money that I've got, and it's not a small amount. I mean, for me, it's all relative, but it's not a small amount of money. And I was talking with my CPA. I had about an hour call with him yesterday. And I was just like, okay, let's just ballpark this. What happens if I sell this and I don't 1031? Either I choose not to, or I can't find anything applicable or that I want to put it into
based on the new tax law changes.
Based on the new tax law changes. And then we had to walk through like, okay, what do you think your cost seg is going to result in? So I had to give him kind of some rough estimates there. And so what I could do is that I could just eat it, right? And I could pay probably about a third of what I would normally owe in capital gains and recapture depreciation taxes if I sell it and just take advantage of the fact that I'm doing 100% bonus depreciation plus cost seg on these different projects. So I'm kicking around doing that.
Or you could just take a smaller portion of money to offset that part that would be in taxes and put that into, use that as a 1031 into a smaller property.
And then, exactly. And then I could do, and I think we may have touched on this, or maybe I did it at the meetup.
We did.
Yeah, the boot. You have to pay a portion of it. If your 1031 that you're exchanging into the replacement property is less value than the one you sold, then you just pay taxes on the difference between the two. And again, look this up, don't go off what I'm saying here, but that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And then like you showed me a property on, what was that, Monday, Tuesday this week, 56 units. And we walked that. It's like 60s vintage and 3 different buildings. I'm considering that.
Well kept.
But here's the deal with this property. And we talked about this. It used to be 62 units and it was priced at 5.1 million when they listed it, right? Then they dropped the price once or twice and it came down to like 4.8. It was a 5.1 and then went down to 4.8.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, maybe, I mean, this is close enough. I could look at it, see what's up. But then come to find out.
Wasn't it 5.2 originally?
It might have been. Yeah. 5.2 down to 4.8 now. But anyway, long story longer, come to find out, they actually took 6 units out of that. They took an entire sixplex out of it, plus garages and an office.
Yeah. If you offer on it, we need to try to get that back.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, like, oh, they reduced it. Sweet. Maybe I should go look. It's been sitting for a while. Maybe they'll take less, blah, blah, blah. And then come to find out, they reduced it, but they actually didn't reduce it because they took value out of that by removing the sixplex and the garages and all that, which is probably what, $750,000?
I would say at least.
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually more expensive now than it was before.
It's a lot of storage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that if you do offer on it, you just say, hey, this is my price. And
I want that too.
That has to be.
Yeah. You can lease it, but I want it. Yeah. So I may write on that. I don't know. Well, or there's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun. It's always fun walking properties with you, man. We got to find more of those. Get off your butt and find me something to look at.
It's always an adventure.
Yeah, it is, man. And we had the grumpy old guy showing us around.
He's fine.
He is. He was fine to me, but apparently he can be a little rough around the edges. He's got the tenants whipped into shape there, though, man.
Oh God,
he doesn't mess around.
Have you
like somebody walked out and he's like, hey, that floor's wet. Clean that up. Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen anybody walk into units the way he walks in?
No, he's just like, I mean, he literally walks in like he owns the place, and he does own it, but he's not a resident there, you know. So anyway, it was a funny dynamic.
And he does own it outright.
Yeah, I know. I know. So yeah, kind of an interesting deal. We'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you updated if any traction.
The seller financing part of that makes it a little bit more interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what he'd agree to.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I'm glad I looked at it. It's still on the list. You know, if I gun to my head, I might throw it on my 1031 3 property list that I have to do in 45 days after closing. Yeah, another thing that happened is there's a property that just became vacant and listed, and it's right next door to a commercial property I own with a couple partners, and it shares an alley and it has some additional parking. And this is actually a good one. So it's a 4,000 square foot office building. Okay.
Is this the one on the alleyway?
Yes.
Yeah, Counts Plus?
Yes.
Yes.
And it has a really cool 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment above it that overlooks Bayless Park, which is, the town square park or whatever. And it's listed for $299. And they're super motivated. Like, it was an owner operator that managed their own business, and they sold the building and moved out, or they're wanting to sell the building because they moved out. So it's 100% vacant, even though the apartment's vacant. So would you buy an office building of 4,000 square feet for $200
with the apartments on top?
One apartment on top.
Yes.
Now, okay,
especially if I own an adjacent property,
so
then I could control a level of how my area looked.
Yep, and so that was the thought, right? So we walked it, and it's kind of like.
But you said it had a boiler.
It does. Yeah. There's some hair on this deal. Don't get me wrong.
Is it all one utility for the apartment and the bottom, or is those separate?
They're separate. I think there's a furnace up top, if I remember right. But and they just put which I can't believe they paid this much for it, but whatever. They did an insurance claim and replaced the roof, so it's a flat roof. They put a new TPO roof on for $160,000.
That's insane.
I know, right? So, but here's the deal. So 4,000 square feet of office. You think, and I own an office building, and I'm like, I don't want any more office, really. Mm-hmm. But I was talking with our agent that was walking us through it, and he does a lot of commercial leasing. And I go, okay, gun to your head, how long would it take you to lease this? And what would it lease for? Okay, like just real world this. What realistically do you think it would take? He's like, well, I just leased, and he rattled off some examples. He's like, I can probably get between, $15-$16 a square foot. Okay. So do the math there, whatever that is. So 15 times 4, that's $6,000 a month. I go, okay, what about this? I go, how long do you think it would take? He's like, I don't know, several months. And I'm like, that's what I was expecting. But I said, okay, what about $10 a square foot? What if you just like bargain basement leasing pricing? He's like, oh, I could probably get it leased in about 3 months.
Triple net?
No. Well, this is gross lease. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but $10 a square foot, that's $4,000 a month, plus the apartment above is probably, let's call it $1,000. Mm-hmm. That's $5,000 a month on a, let's call it $250,000 investment. Would you do it?
Yeah.
That's 2% in commercial.
Yeah, that's great.
Especially if he could get a long lease or like, at least 3-year lease or something like that with the office. Because I don't want to replace the office.
You want to control what your area looks like too.
Yeah. And there's a mural on the side of the building. I mean, it's cool. It's a good spot. It's right next to our property, which is a kind of a historic building. So made an offer on that, or I'm making an offer this morning. In my flurry of activity here, but that's been a little bit of my week.
You doing that one yourself, or would you do it with the partner?
No, that'll be the same 2 partners I have
the
on the office building. Yeah,
I figured.
Yeah,
and then you got the boiler.
And then we got the boiler.
That's.
But I mean, honestly, at that price, we could probably run duct work and do that if we wanted to. I don't know. We'll see.
Or, I mean, and the other part you got to think about that is, are you going to offer like a build out opportunity too, which there's those costs that people don't really think about when it comes to commercial.
Yeah. I'm figuring even if we were all in, let's say something crazy happened and we had to put $100,000 into it, we're all in at $350.
Still makes sense.
And it's leased for what, $5,000 if by the time we get both, the apartment and the office leased. I mean, that's pretty stout. That's tough to get in residential.
And the average commercial lease is what, 3-5 years?
Yeah. Yep, that's about right. Yeah, depending on what type of if it's triple net and all that. But anyway, so I guess I'm back in the office game.
You never left.
No, we'll see what happens. I mean, shit. If I could rent that apartment, and I think it may be possible to get $1,200 because it's a pretty sweet setup. I mean, even if we had to eat it for a while. We could finish the apartment first, get that leased. It'll not cash flow at that price, but at least it'll have to be something, and then limp along until we get a commercial tenant in there.
Hit up Andy Corey, to see if he needs a new spot for his office.
Oh, he'd want to own the building for sure. But
he'd be buying it right now if he knew.
Yeah, and then you and I had a little sit down with Kyle Mehring this week.
Yeah, yesterday
at Cigars.
Yeah. You still tasting a cigar in your mouth?
That was Wednesday, and yes, I still can. But yeah,
that's the first time I've ever seen you smoke. I don't think I've even seen you smoke on the golf course.
It's been years. Okay, probably 3 years. Since I've had a cigar. But yeah, if my insurance agent is listening to this, never has happened. But so that was an interesting sit down. He owns the
Premier Claims.
Thank you. And, they're obviously a national company, independent insurance adjusters. And, it's super interesting, dude. I had a fun time hanging out with him.
What time did you leave? Because
I was probably like half hour behind you.
Okay.
Yeah. So not too much longer. But that was, And then we've had our fun car issues for the last several weeks. Yeah.
I mean, you want to go first?
I had a windshield. Basically, my windshield exploded. Like, the whole thing didn't like actual loose glass come out. But so I had safe light. I lined this up and I'm like, oh shit, I have hardly any time to do this. I have like a 2-hour window. They're going to come to my house and they said, yeah, we can get it done in an hour and a half tops. Great. Do it. Line it up, pay my $250 for deductible. They show up. I'm like, okay, I got to get going. Like, how's it going? Are you doing well? Can I get your water? Let's go. And they have this like metal
polite
arm,
but firm.
Yes, this metal like arm thing. So they took the old windshield out, right, and they put this new replacement windshield on this arm thing, and they were like maneuvering it to put it. He's maneuvering it to put it in this thing.
I watched that on a commercial yesterday. I saw a Safe Light commercial, and I watched him put it on.
Yeah. So the freaking arm breaks, right, and the windshield crashes down on my like hood and the whatever you call the post things that come up on the side,
like the
and
pillars.
Scratch the crap out of the paint on that enough to where it's below the surface level, so it'll rust.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it got some glue and crap on my dash.
That truck has got
oh my gosh,
the most honest abuse.
I know, and so I'm like, and he's he's like, I don't know when we can get the next one here. I gotta wait for my manager, and I'm like TikTok, I'm like, all right, hurry up, So he comes, and I'm irritated, but it's not him.
You need a spare car like I have.
I have one. I was going to take Avery's car to the cigar thing. But anyway, so they bring this new one, put it in, and now I have to go to an auto body shop, get an estimate, give it to Safe Light, and have them agree on it. Have a rental, and have them fix the paint, order part, whatever the hell they have to do. So I'm so done, man. I might just start Ubering everywhere.
You already do Uber everywhere.
I do. I'm responsible, though.
I couldn't imagine you like being a professional Uber.
I don't even know what I spend. It's a lot.
You need to have your own Waymo car.
That is not a bad idea.
I know it isn't.
Get an AI car and just be like, take me here.
As of next week, Elon Musk's AI will be in all of his Teslas.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh,
his own personal AI system.
Are you going to get one since the Ford Lightning hasn't really worked out how you wanted?
I might not have a choice here soon. Yeah. My truck broke down like almost a month ago now. It went almost 2 weeks without a rental because they had nothing available in shop for rentals.
Yeah.
And they only will give you a Ford rental at Enterprise. And Enterprise is like, yeah, no problem. And I go in there and like, there's not one single Ford rental in the whole entire fleet in the Omaha area 20 miles out. And I'm like, what?
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And so then finally get a rental truck, which is a regular cab.
Oh yeah,
extended.
Well, you have like 2 doors, right? Is it two
door? Yeah, it's got 7 miles on it, and I'm like, guys, I have kids and everything. This does not work. And they're like, this is all we have. We just literally pulled it off the truck. And I get in it, and I'm going. I'm like, God, it was running rough. Like right when leaving, I'm like, I don't have time, just like you, right? Nope. Next day, the check engine light comes on. Yep, the motor's going bad on it.
On a brand new truck.
Brand new F-150. Yep. So I'm like, I waited like a day or two to tell them because I'm like, do you guys have anything to swap out? No. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, by the way, the check engine light came on.
Well, how about now?
Yep. And all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, bring that in right away. So I bring it in. They swap me out for like a Ford Bronco. Like, it's just not me.
Yeah. Well, and you're going camping this weekend, right? Talk about that.
Yeah. Well, so I go pick up the Ford Bronco and then load all my stuff into that. They call me 4 hours later and they're like, oh, your truck's ready to go. I'm like, oh, okay. So go there, turn my rental vehicle in, get all my stuff out, put it in my truck, start the truck, the check engine light's on. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, we drove it 4 miles. And I'm like, yeah, it's on. So then they hook up the computer, like, it's all new codes. Like, oh, and then I get a call a few days later. It needs a new module that's regulating electricity. It goes to the battery. Get a phone call from Ford then yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Ford engineers at corporate put an all stop on working on your vehicle. And I'm like, what do you mean an all stop? Well, we think there's deeper underlying issues that's burning the modules, which is burning out your battery on your truck. And I'm like, and I'm like, are we talking like weeks or are we talking like months? And I go, and they're like minimum weeks. And I'm like, hey, I'm going camping. I already had to cancel one camping trip, which I reserved a year ago at the spots because they're hard to get around here. And then I go, I have another camping spot for this weekend. I'm like, I need a pickup. And they're like, sorry, we have a no tow policy on anything that's a rental vehicle. So we don't have anything for you. I'm like, just grab me a truck off the damn lot.
Right.
And they're like, sorry, we can't. And so now,
so what are you going to do? Are you canceling?
I hit up my buddy Kelly. It's got a plethora of vehicles.
He's out of town though, right?
Yeah, he's like, here it is. Get this out of my house. This is how you get access. Man. He's got a diesel Denali.
So this is like planes, trains, and automobiles trying to get places.
He's like, by the way, it doesn't have plates on it, so you might need to put your plates on.
God. You're going to get pulled over for Grand Theft Auto, probably. Oh, that's funny. Well, hey, let's a little topic change here, but let's talk about today's Golden Nugget. Okay, it's possible I brought this up in the past, but this is pretty cool, I think, to those of you landlords that have residential properties where you've got, tenants. If you have not used, I'm trying to think how they put this. I think it's called a surety bond, where Rhino is one of the more well-known ones. So it's basically tenant security deposit insurance. Mm-hmm. So if you're a tenant and you're getting ready to move out of an apartment or a house and you're moving into a new one, typically you're going to have to come up with first month's rent plus a security deposit. Usually it's equal to the, first month's rent. So it's a big chunk of money, right? And then you got moving costs and expenses and all that stuff. So it's, it's hard to get from one place to another and not spend several $1,000s. So what Rhino is basically tenant security deposit, almost like an insurance company, but I think they call it like a surety bond or something like that. Basically, they're out of pocket like maybe $100. Mm-hmm. And that allows them to move into the property. Just all they have to pay now is their first month's rent and the $100 or whatever it is. And then it's like a small monthly after that. So it's almost like, how you can call State Farm or wherever and get tenant insurance, renter's insurance for like $10 a month.
Yeah.
They have kind of the same thing. So you're paying $10 for that. Here's the difference. The tenant will not be able to get that money back. So they're almost financing a security deposit and not going to be able to recover it.
There's more and more property managers offering this.
Okay. So which leads me up to what I'm about to talk about. So Brandon and I had a property that we've had as a rental for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and it's been leased. And the tenants that we just had in it just moved out, and they were pigs and did a lot of damage in a fairly short amount of time. So they ended up being about $3,900 worth of damage. And so, it's annoying and it pisses you off, and it kills, like 3 months of cash that it's going to generate, right? From rental income. So you're losing money on it this year. And what happened is the property management company that I use on this property, they had Rhino as the security deposit insurance. Tenant has that. They move out. Damage. We figure out that it's $3,900. If you submit receipts and pictures and documentation of the damages caused, turn that over to Rhino. They will then front you that damage money, and then they go after the tenant. So we're getting $3,900 from Rhino, and then they're going to fight it out with collections.
Airbnb needs to use that company.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I had a several $1,000 loss, and they paid out $390.
Yeah, that's my point with this. So like, check into this, guys. And there's other competitors out there, but just check out Rhino. That's probably RHINO. Just Google Rhino tenant security deposit insurance, whatever, and you'll find it. But I'm excited because the other way that you go about collecting the damages is typically going to be small claims court if it's $5,000 or less, or collections. Now, there's a big pain in the ass about going to court over small claims. It's going to take probably months to get that figured out. And then if you go collections and turn it over to them, they're probably going to take at least half of your revenue, right? They'll collect it, but you're not going to see much out of it. So I'm pretty excited that we're going to be able to recover basically the full cost of the damages, and we were able to do that. And now we've got the property on the market and didn't lose a bunch of time and headache over it. I think so. That's today's golden nugget.
I think we need to interview that CEO next.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, have that conversation.
That would be, because I have no affiliation or no skin in the game with this company, but I was really pleasantly surprised about how this seems to be turning out.
John, reach out to that company, get us all set up, and then get us a sponsorship.
Yeah, John.
And don't forget the sponsorship.
That's right.
we need some more new commercials here on the podcast.
Speaking of sponsorships, let's talk about August 20th for a minute as a little friendly reminder to the listeners.
Speakers are all locked in.
Yep. So for those of you that caught a week and a half ago episode of Andy Corey, he has agreed to come on as our 5th and final speaker. And is this official? Have you heard from the powers that be about?
It should be official. We can talk about it, but it isn't in writing yet.
Okay. So what are we talking about, Ted?
So we have partnered with Paul Vacheski in Randall School of Real Estate, and we submitted in everything we need to have CE credits provided to us. So it's going to be broken down to the first 3 speakers will be a 3 credit hour course, and the second 2 speakers will be a 3-hour credited course. And
so that's 6 CE credits that you can get by attending this amazing event that we're putting on.
If you're a Nebraska realtor, yes.
Yep.
And then, but yeah, we're gonna have.
Because I want to ask you this though, as a realtor, do you like wait until the end of the year typically, and then like cram in your CE credits? Is that how it normally goes with agents?
I do a ton of these full day events.
Okay.
That are going on. Like there's Recharge and there's a couple Rebar, yep, and a couple other ones. And there's CE credits available for all those. So I do those. So I cover probably about half my credits.
How many do you have to have for a year in each year? Of CE credits.
I don't.
Is it like 12?
Yeah, and I have a broker's license, so it's more.
Yeah,
and but yeah, it's.
But you can knock 12, out 16, knock out a good chunk of it just by going to this multifamily event, and it's going to be awesome. I mean, what the speakers we have are amazing. Anybody that is operating in the real estate space in multifamily in Omaha probably knows at least some, if not all, of these speakers we've got. So
yeah, we've had every single one of these speakers on the podcast.
Yep, and they're all great and have unique perspectives and strengths and knowledge bases on these different topics that we're going to do. So I'm excited. Yeah. And it's going to be, and they all are eating their own cooking. They've got a lot of multifamily themselves and operate in different facets of it. So I'm excited. You guys should be too. Reach out to Ted.
Yeah.
If you want to get some tickets purchased,
go to REIA Mastery Series.com, and I'll take you right to the ticket purchase. And just so you guys know, right now, those tickets are only $199. And then on the 1st of August, they're going to go up 25%. And then on August, I think 18th, which is a Monday, they're going to go up another 25% because it gets harder and harder for me to get all the supplies and everything booked out.
Yeah.
So
buy them now, people.
Buy them now. This is the cheapest that you're going to get them. And we got great speakers. Check them out. This will be our first event that we're putting on. But the next one will probably be storage units, and then we'll have a few more events after that.
The REIA Mastery Series. Yeah, I love it. It's good job, buddy.
It's a good name, huh?
I'm hoping your business and life coaches are all very proud of you for putting this out there.
Well, Jason wants me to do some more stuff.
He does.
Sure.
Okay, so this is low hanging fruit. Then. This is your 90-day, not your annual.
He's like, you better be promoting this and this and this at the event.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, before we wrap up here, I definitely want to talk about Wednesday's guest that we have on the podcast, Jeff Hearst. We just got done interviewing the CEO of Furnished Finder.
Furnished Finder, yes.
And talk about a fun interview. We met him at the REI Summit.
Yeah, REI Summit in Austin, where he lives.
Yeah, because Megan Ahern introduced us as she always does.
Yeah, thanks, Megan.
Megan's like, I'll come in that place if you guys have a better chair for me and a camera. Otherwise, she's only filling in, one of us is gone. Yeah. But thank you, Megan, for setting it up. But yeah, real dude, lumberjack at heart. Listen to the podcast, you'll know. And listen to Austin, Texas. We never did ask the Portugal question.
I forgot. I was so wrapped up in his story, and he's been in leadership roles at a lot of big name companies in the hospitality space, including HomeAway, Vrbo, Expedia, and now over to Furnished Finder. And he's they basically cherry picked him and said, "Hey, come in here, give us your plan." And this private equity firm bought part of or most of Furnished Finder, and he came in, basically hired a bunch of people. Cool little offshoot story of that is, he has 175 women that in Colombia.
Yeah, VA.
Yeah, well, they're employees, but they're stationed there, and they're all females. So kind of a cool.
Oh no, there's 2 men there now.
Oh, 2 men. Okay.
Remember?
Yeah. But anyway, so very cool story, very sharp dude, very candid, and he's very introspective and gives you kind of his worldview on a lot of different things in life. And he also owns and operates his own short-term, midterm rentals. So, he's living what he does every day at work in real life.
Very hands-on CEO. That was the one really cool thing about him. And guys, when it comes to these opportunities, you need to be open-minded, because if you're looking at a property, maybe it's not working as long-term, maybe it's not working as a short-term, and maybe the laws are changing and where you guys are at.
Or maybe you're like me and you've operated a short-term rental and it hasn't really worked out like you hoped, and you underwrote it originally thinking that was going to be the end game for you. He goes into detail and talks about kind of what you can expect from if you had a long-term rental, what is the difference between doing a long-term and a midterm or maybe a short-term rental? What kind of revenue can you expect, and as a percentage increase for doing it in a shorter term stay, like a midterm? And he talked about kind of the types of people that are typically looking for these properties, and which surprised me on a couple of them. I didn't even think about, people doing the try before you buy thing. Yeah, it was a fun dynamic with you guys talking back and forth about your personal experience using them and so forth. But if you've ever considered buying a, short-term, midterm rental, you want to find out what the difference is, how difficult are they to manage, what kind of pricing can you expect, what parts of town and types of properties make sense for short-term versus midterm, he gives all that knowledge out in the episode. So it's a really, really, really good one.
Funny thing is, whenever I'm working with somebody that's, really green when it comes to real estate investing, I always want to make sure that they have multiple options.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're not going to be good at one of them.
Yep.
And they need to look at the backup. So I'm always like, hey, look at the short term, look at the midterm, look at this as a long, look at it as a flip.
Yeah.
And I kind of go through that road.
Multiple exit strategies. Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people who don't understand the midterm or don't understand what it means, what it's about. This is going to be that deep dive that you need. And besides Sarah Weaver, this is probably the first deep dive we really had, or Ziona McIntyre.
Yeah, one other quick soundbite on this. For those of you involved in the short-term rental game, if you have Airbnbs or whatever, there's a lot of legislation that is getting passed over and over again in multiple cities around the country. And I would think this is going to be continuously happening, like Atlanta, Kansas City. They put a lot of restrictions in other, heavy travel areas where people are they don't want more short-term rentals. So a lot of cities have banned them completely or put really strict guidelines around who can actually own and operate them, how many you can have, all those kind of things. So this was a really nice kind of segue into a different twist on things where you could operate as a midterm rental and get around a lot of those strict regulations because it is a longer tenant stay or a longer guest stay than you would normally have with a short term. So listen to that and pay attention to the regulations and stuff around it. And this might be a good option for you.
Yeah, I do enjoy it, and it's really, really lucrative for me. So,
yep.
Hey, well, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you tuning in for 229 episodes. We'd really appreciate if you leave us a 5-star review on every format that you can possibly listen on a podcast. You can go through your Audible, your Apple, your YouTube, your
Spotify.
Rumble, your Spotify. Just go ahead and create an account in every one of those and give us a 5-star review.
5-star across the board.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, hey, with that, Owen Dashner, we see us out.
On behalf of Aiden Bear, Ted Kosh, and REIA Radio, I'm Owen Dashner, and you've been listening to the
Real Estate Rundown. Sign off.